Hi, this is Brianna Hunt Halder, and here is my community mapping project. I come from a neighborhood called the San Gabriel Valley, named after the San Gabriel mission that is across the street from my high school here. My focus student lives a mile and a half to the south. She commutes back and forth every day. Our school district is kind of medium sized. We got about 17,000 students. Two-thirds of our students qualify for free or reduced lunch. And then we have a pretty large cross section of English learners, as well as RFEPs, IFEPs, first generation, second, third generation immigrants. Most of our students come from Asian backgrounds, lots of students from different parts of China. Also, we have a really big Vietnamese population in our neighborhood, and other areas of Asia as well. And then traditionally, San Gabriel has been a Hispanic neighborhood for a long, long time. Okay, so one community resource is there are lots of educational opportunities that are interesting and unique. I can't imagine that there are too many historical museums attached to planetariums like there are at this small park that's down the street from my student's house. Also, of course, my favorite thing about the neighborhood is we've got all the delicious foods and they're all together. This area used to be fully Latino. There was a Hispanic supermarket across the street, but in the last few decades, we've uh, kind of shifted more towards the uh, Asian community in this part of town. So you see, we've got a Japanese restaurant. This is a Hong Kong style tea house. This is mainland Chinese food. And then we've got some kind of like fusion tea. There are also all kinds of historical landmarks around in the community, lots of really interesting sights to see and things to learn. And there's an interesting diverse student population. This little mosaic was made by students not at my public high school, but at a private school nearby. And I can see from the names of the students on the tiles that they made, it probably has a similar demographic breakdown that our public school does. So this is a private Catholic school, but students who go there have names like this is Nguyen and Troy. So it's good to see diversity even in the private schools. Okay, some literacy resources that we have in our community as well. We just built this great library, and it's got a pretty large section of books that are in other languages, lots and lots of Chinese books, magazines, newspapers. There's also a lot of Vietnamese stuff and a healthy sized Spanish section as well. Another asset in this community is that families have a real value that they place on education. So whether rich, poor, Chinese, Mexican, wherever the family's heritage is, doesn't matter. I find that all of my students, their families put education first. Okay, another literacy asset in this community is there are a lot of different languages being spoken, written, and read nearby. Lots of job opportunities for bilingual students. This sign is my favorite literacy asset because it reminds me a lot of what Frere talks about when he talks about how um, reading means reading the world. This question doesn't prompt any particular answer. It's about building the habit of inquiry in whoever reads it. And it makes me really happy to see. I wish it was in some other languages, but I'll take it. Okay, so some of the needs in our community. We really need better inclusivity. It feels a little bit like the mission is the property of the private school that is nearby. And I think that's sad. San Gabriel High School maybe needs to visit the San Gabriel mission once in a while and learn from the history and, you know, make the community members feel like it's part of their story because it is. A big need in our community is education. Of course, that is something that every family seems to value. My students' family emigrated from Taiwan because of the educational opportunities here. They didn't come for work or jobs or family. They came here because they wanted their daughter to have a better chance of getting an education and going to a university. So that's something that people need a lot and care a lot about. I also think that the members of the community need to be educated a little more in the history of the mission. Again, maybe about learning from past mistakes, maybe about reconnecting with roots. But I think that there is a huge opportunity for getting better acquainted with the history and the culture around here. I really would like to see more communication, especially in languages other than English. I think that my school has a responsibility to send communication home to families in the family's home language. And, you know, when people visit the mission to learn about history, they should be able to do so in their language, not just English. And something that I'm really taking away from this experience is the importance of outreach. It's not enough that these museums are open to anyone who wants to go because they're not visited by the people that need to see them. Um, the the schools, the museums, the civic organizations that are in our community need to do a better job of putting themselves out there to attract people so that community members can come together. I think that before this project, I kind of considered San Gabriel to be a diverse community, and it still is, but we don't mix. We still kind of stay in our own sandbox, I guess. So I cheated in including this picture because this did not come from my neighborhood. This came from a celebration in Chinatown that I went to a few months ago. And this is what I think of when I say I really want to see more outreach and inclusivity in our community. Uh, we have a Chinese New Year celebration, um, but it's all Chinese people who go and the written materials about it are all in Chinese. And it would just be nice to see uh, more inclusion of everyone, more mixing, more intermingling, more intersectionality. So, one thing that stuck with me from my reading is the necessary components of culturally responsive pedagogy. And the one that stands out the most to me is the social emotional learning component. Again, if I just tell students, well, talk to each other and ask each other questions, they're going to pick their friends and they're going to stay in their comfort zones. And it's really important for teachers to work on relationship building with students and with teachers and students as well. Um, Also, I'm always going to think about the context that my students come to me with when they're learning. When we talk about knowledge, uh, it's, I guess, chosen by people in power, and the people in power get to decide what's valuable, what's an asset, and what is something that's not worth recognizing. And because of that, we lost a really wonderful culture of people. We lost a lot of ideas and art, and it's So, in thinking about how I assess my students' literacy abilities, I'm applying this idea of outreach. It's not enough to just say, hey, I've got this knowledge and it's available for whoever wants it. Uh, it needs to be a little bit more reciprocal than that. I need to learn about my students. I need to really cross out of my comfort zone and learn about their world. And that's the only way that I'm going to be responsive to their needs and to truly include students in the learning. So, in conclusion, there is a world of literacy opportunity in every community, and it is the educator's responsibility to find out about that and to apply it in order to make meaningful learning opportunities for students. Thank you very much for watching this presentation. Goodbye.